We appreciate you watching and listening to The Dead Jeff Show. Please like and subscribe and tune in for more videos. Jerry Jones and this team, they fall in love with their ideas. They fall in love with their players, and they think nobody can do it better than us. And everybody's wrong about these player evaluations. And then 2 years later, they realize everybody else was right. It's so much nonsense holding this team back. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And they must be insane in the front office. It's a great day to be alive on the Dead Jeff Show. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jeff. That's Nick. And that's the maestro, Luke. Well, the season has gone exactly how we thought it would, Nick. And that's unfortunate, but I knew last night when the Eagles won that this is kind of what we'd get from these Cowboys today, because history tells us that that's what we get when they're playing for nothing except pride. So anyway, this is a safe place, Cowboy fans. We can talk about frustrations. We can talk about insanity, which is doing the same thing and expecting different results. We can talk about all that today, and we will. We're also going to talk about other NFL action. We're going to get into some college football updates with the playoff games that happen. We're going to get into Nick's picks and a little bit of what's killing Jeff. And we have a new segment we're going to debut, which is the maestroing through the news with Luke. So he's going to talk about the weird sports stories of the week. So let's get into it, man. Like I said, when the Eagles won and clinched the division and knocked us out of the playoffs, I kind of knew we were in trouble today. So let's kind of get your initial results, guys. Nick, give me your initial results or initial thoughts on the results.
Yeah, man, just feeling like a broken record even as the game's going on. Defense can't make a play. Kenneth Murray is maybe one of the worst linebackers the Cowboys have ever suited up. I mean, the dude is just so bad, and I hate being so negative about just like an individual as opposed to the unit, but man, he is not good. And then, on the offensive side of the ball, look, you've got a 4,000-yard passer, you've got 2,000-yard receivers, you got a 1,000-yard running back, you've got a tight end that's going to finish in the top 12 in touchdowns probably, all with an offensive line that was really never consistently healthy. Got a lot of questions, as we know, in the offseason about that. So I think for me, it's the defense is exactly as bad and maybe worse than I thought they were. The Quinnen Williams trade helped for about 2 seconds and then went back to crap. And I'm not sure if Overshown can ever stay healthy.
Okay, I'm glad you got that off your chest. I need you to say it with more conviction next time, though, man. Come on. A lot to take in there before we let the maestro go with his thoughts. But here, let me just respond to some things that you said there. The offense was not good in the second half of the game against the Chargers. And, of course, you should know by now that the Cowboys lost 34-17 to the L.A. Chargers at home in the home finale here in Dallas. And the offense was not good in the second half. We really couldn't run the ball today. And that's not really like you're talking about on Javonte. It's the offensive line. It's everything. And Dak was okay. Pickens balled out. He showed back up. Of course, there's nothing to play for. It's over, but he played with pride. He's playing for his money, and he showed up. I think that, when you talk about the impact of this game, it really doesn't have much impact on the overall results. Even with draft picks, there's not a lot of room to go up or down with what's left on the schedule. So it's not even like tanking would be beneficial for us at this point. So in this game, coming in, Eberflus is moving to the box up top, right? Well, I wish they'd move him back to Chicago, honestly, because I just can't. I don't understand this. And I'm going to get on a Jerry Jones rant in a little bit, but it's just awful what we've had to witness here, and I don't want to get ahead of myself a little bit, but this game went about as the way I thought it would. Um, the offense came out and did okay in the first half, but was non-existent in the second half. Defense awful. Like you said in episode 1 of the Dead Jeff show, maybe all-time worst defense ever in the history of the league. Definitely in the history of the Cowboys.
Mhm.
But just disappointment after disappointment. But like I said, it's hard for me to get fired up because I've already been apathetic about this team. But Maestro, what are your initial reactions to this 34-17 loss to the LA Chargers?
Well, my first question is, you talked about the Eagles game, and so you thought that we had a chance still to make the playoffs, or 'cause that's what it
No,
sounded like.
no, I'm saying
Negative.
once they knew they were out of the
Yeah.
playoffs, this was the effort they were going to get.
Right.
I knew it was over weeks ago. Nick
Okay.
was still on the bandwagon thinking we're going to the playoffs. I knew weeks ago it wasn't going to happen, but the Cowboys still technically had 1% chance, and so if they had lost that game, they were still alive, but once they won it, we knew it was over.
Yeah, Nick told me they were gonna make the Super Bowl earlier this week, but no, I mean it's typical Cowboys fashion. To me, it doesn't matter if they have the best offense or the best defense. They're gonna have the same type of season, in my opinion. So, call me a hater. Doesn't matter.
Hater.
That's fine. My
Mhm.
dad thinks I'm a hater, but I'm just.
You abandoned us, man. You jumped ship.
I wasn't ever on the ship.
You've been a Cowboy fan your whole life until last year.
Yeah, the Cowboys. Well, I don't know if I can say this, but well, no, I probably shouldn't say that, but
Okay.
we're gonna get canceled.
You're already censoring yourself?
Yeah, we're gonna get canceled
Okay.
if I say that, I think. But
Yeah. Well, you
no,
jumped off the
actually,
ship.
you know what? I'll say it. Because I don't care. Um, basically, you hear about these quote unquote funny stories, about a guy dating a girl and then they break up and then the girl or the guy, one or the other, starts talking to the opposite or the same. They either turn gay.
I don't know where you're going, man.
They turn gay,
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So what I'm saying is the Cowboys turned me into a player fan. I
They turned you gay. Is what you're saying?
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah. It's
yeah.
the equivalent. It's
They
the
drove me
equivalent of.
away.
Not that
It's-
there's anything wrong with that in
It's
in
the
eyes of the
equivalent.
public.
I'm making a parallel here.
Okay.
It's the equivalent to that. The Cowboys. I guess I was a Cowboys fan. My dad says, but I don't know. I knew deep down. I don't
Okay.
know.
Wow. So I learned something there, and it's the it's the comparison game. We shouldn't compare, folks. I mean, that's why we don't do it because we might get canceled for that, Luke. we
Well,
might get canceled for that.
I don't think we will.
But anyway, so Luke is not a fan and says it's typical Cowboys. Now, I want to get into something here before we get into, well, let's just get into it. The defense, like we said, is an all-time worst in Cowboys history. It got a little better with Quinnen Williams being added and Kenny Clark being added, but Quinnen Williams didn't play today, in fairness to him, right? But I think that's the problem. And the more and more that I think about this, the more and more concerned I get about Eberflus coming back next year. He just can't. I'll be so upset. And I know I said I'm apathetic to this team, but that would really tick me off if they bring Eberflus back. I mean, because what that says is that Jerry Jones doesn't care about the quality of job you do. And let's think about this for a second. Schottenheimer didn't get to bring in his defensive coordinator. They already had Eberflus when they hired Schottenheimer. Isn't that correct?
That's right.
Didn't they hire Eberflus first and then Schottenheimer?
I'm pretty sure that's correct. I'm double checking.
Do I
but
have
yeah,
that correct?
believe.
Maybe you can double check that. But anyway, Eberflus was a Jerry Jones guy. And that's not a I mean, this is what Jerry Jones does. He picks guys he's familiar with, guys he can control, guys who won't cause any waves, right? And so the more this thing goes, the more concerned I'm getting that Eberflus will be back next year, and you can justify it with, oh, we got the trade that happened, and now we got our personnel, and oh, we had some injuries. This whole Diggs situation is terrible, and Diggs played awful today. He just wasn't good. And maybe it's because he's coming back from injury. I'll cut him some slack. But he was pushing, wanting to play, he's telling everybody he's ready. Well, he didn't look ready to play today. I'll just be honest with you. But Eberflus coming back would be just a huge, colossal mistake. But I want somebody coming in here who's a dog, who, man, he's going to push the envelope a little bit, but that's not what Jerry Jones wants. Jerry Jones wants somebody to be quiet, fall in line, and not cause any waves. But do you think that Jerry Jones is going to get rid of Eberflus when he's going to have all these years left on his contract and all this money? I mean, I don't know what he's making, but to me, I'm getting really annoyed thinking about Jerry Jones even possibly bringing him back. I think they need to fire him this week so that is not even a temptation.
So a couple things. Eberflus was hired second. Schottenheimer was hired on the 24th of January. Eberflus was hired on the 28th. The timeline and the sequence of events made it to where the common thought was that it was not a Schottenheimer hire.
It wasn't.
That Jerry had basically already had the sequence of events lined out. And
hey, Schotty, if you want to be the coach here, this is going to be your defensive coordinator.
That's exactly right. The hiring of Schottenheimer as the head coach was contingent upon accepting Eberflus as the DC. So that's kind of part one. Part two is I don't see, for all the fault that Jerry Jones has had, certainly he cannot allow Eberflus to come back as a DC. Like, that would just be, I mean, it just doesn't seem possible.
But isn't that the most Jerry Jones thing ever?
It would be
like, yeah. We had injuries. We made the trades. Eberflus is my guy. They've liked Eberflus for a long time. They've had this continuity thing that they always talk about with Cowboys hires. It's people that Jerry Jones is familiar with, and maybe they've worked with in the past, or part of somebody else's staff that's worked here. And I think that's what concerns me, is the more this goes and the more they don't fire him. Like, if they don't fire him after this game, I mean, wouldn't you want to see what the other guy can do? White Cotton or whoever, somebody? Go ahead.
Why is this the game that he should be fired? Like, why is this the last straw? Like,
it's just more of the same, and that's the problem. There's no adjustments. There's nothing that's changed. And yes, we've had injuries, but if you keep trotting, Murray out there, my gosh, it's like, I put the rookie out there. Put Shamar James. At least if he screws up, you can justify it. He's a rookie. So the thing about it, Luke, is that this is more of the same. And I guess I don't know who put him in the penalty box up there and, like, get off my sideline. Maybe it was Schottenheimer. Maybe Schottenheimer's had enough of the Flus. But Jerry, I feel like is going to protect him, and I don't know why. I just feel like the more this goes, that's the way it's going to turn out. But the reason, to your answer to your question, Luke, is because it's more of the same. It's worse and worse. It's not better, and that's the problem. You've upgraded your personnel and you have not performed. Maybe it's the scheme.
I just think it's like, after, I think it was we played Denver, it was like, oh my gosh, fire Eberflus, this is ridiculous. And then the defense was a little better, and then it was like, okay, well, maybe it was, the personnel, maybe it was, maybe we were lacking talent a little bit. And then after this game, it's fire Eberflus, he's terrible.
Well, they got better because they made trades.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So
that's the only reason they got better. It was, that's that, and they got Bland back, and they got, Revel back, and they got Carson back for a little bit.
But
the safeties came back, and let's just talk about the safeties. My gosh, I don't want to see them back. I don't want to see Wilson or Hooker back on that field next year, unless we've got some linebackers that can actually play.
Why don't we put Dak out there? He's getting paid so much. Put him on defense too.
Well, that would be ludicrous because he'd be hurt the first 5 plays. So,
Well, maybe he'd
but
get.
anyway,
So real quick,
go ahead.
just to unpack the Eberflus thing, the DC, I guess DC contracts are not widely available. At least I can't find it here in the immediate. But what they do have is, the idea that he signed a 3 or 4 year deal with the Cowboys as a DC. He had signed a 5 year deal with the Bears, so the Bears are paying him quite a bit of money to not coach there. They did this year and will again next year. So he's still getting Chicago Bear money in 25 and 26. If the Cowboys were to fire him after this season, he'd get Cowboys money for at least the next 2 seasons. I think to kind of Luke's point, I think if they didn't do it then, they're probably not going to do it now. I agree that they should.
Mm.
Let us see what else we have. Maybe somebody can do something different, but
Mhm.
I have a very hard time believing that Jerry's going to make that move. It just doesn't. He's really basically never does it in terms of in season. There was a time to do this where it was going to save your season or have could potentially make an impact. Now with 2 games left and what you're fighting to not have back to back losing seasons for the first time since Quincy Carter, like that's not enough of a reason to make the move, I don't think.
Well, and
Lem
look how good the Bears are now.
Oh, I
well
get it.
well, let me give you a better reason to do it. Do you remember how long they waited on the stupid Mike McCarthy decision? And while they're waiting on Mike McCarthy on whether they're going to fire him or not, coaches are going off the table left and right.
Yep.
How about you fire him now and you get ahead of that this time?
Did they do
Yeah.
the same thing with Jason Garrett, or am I tripping? Or was it different?
No.
No,
Garrett
was
it
different?
was different.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
point though is you lost out on some Ben Johnson was one. Now
Yeah.
that not that they would ever hire Ben Johnson or not that Ben Johnson would ever agree to come here. But
Right.
because you slow played the McCarthy decision, you missed out on interviewing coaches.
I see it. I feel like I see a trend because even like with the players, like we could have, not that we lack talent on the offensive end, but specifically like Aaron Jones wanted to play here. We didn't
Don't
make
forget
any
Derrick
moves.
Henry.
Derrick Henry, yeah, that was my next point. Was Derrick Henry wanted to play here? He works out here in the summers and stuff. Like didn't want to,
Yeah.
try to give him an offer. He may have taken less money because he wanted to play here and
Well,
be a Cowboy.
but here's the problem with that is Jerry Jones is surrounded by yes men. There's nobody challenging Jerry Jones, it seems, or he's not, challenging whoever's really in charge if it's not Jerry. But I believe it's Jerry, and I want to get ahead of this. I want to get the best possible defensive coordinator we can. That's what you do when you want to win football games. But because we know that this guy who's running the team is also the owner, which we've talked about this before. Jerry, as an owner, be the owner, be the Hall of Fame owner. Get all the credit in the world for all the ingenuity and the marketing and all the stuff that you've brought to the table. Let somebody else run the football decisions. Let somebody else do it. It's not worked your way. We've talked about this 30 plus years. It's not worked your way. You haven't gotten it right. Let's get it right. Let's get somebody in here that ahead of the curve. Let's not be trailing from behind when we're looking for coaches. So fire Eberflus this week and get your pick of defensive coordinators for next year. Do you think Aaron Glenn's going to be fired as the Jets head coach? Maybe he's somebody that could come in here. He played here in Dallas for a year or two, I think. What about everyone loves Al Harris? I mean, I don't know if that's the right answer, but you get your choice. Everybody knows ahead of time. That's why I say do it now. Don't wait for the next 2 games. Don't wait for them. And the more we wait, the more they give him reasons to keep him. And that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I
what
think the
what are the
only
reasons
other
to keep him?
They play better and they win
Well,
the
they
last 2 games because they're playing against Schmo and Joe.
Yeah, I mean, but when they play a playoff caliber team,
Well, they're not the last 2 weeks. That's the point.
right,
They're
and
not playing.
that's the problem. Yeah, and Jerry Jones is such a he'll snake oil salesman you into, you see it takes time and now we're healthy and blah blah. Like there'll be a million reasons why. The only other name I would mention, I don't disagree with the word you said. The only other name I think that could potentially be out there, Al Harris is going to be a big one. Potentially I don't think they'll cut ties with Aaron Glenn. I think they'll give him at least one more season.
Yeah.
The one that could be interesting, though, I think they'll give him one more season too, would be Dan Quinn. I think that the season has just gone. So even when Jaden Daniels was healthy, um, it's been a really, really hard season for them. So I think that would be a name that I'd be,
Do you
interested
think Quinn
in.
would come back here after the way he was treated?
Well, I think money kind of makes up for a lot. I think money makes up for a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, but Jerry's always trying to get people on the cheap. He's not going to pay nobody. I mean, that's the other problem we have as coordinators. It's we've got all this money tied up in players that we're going to have to play or pay. He's
Mhm.
probably not got the appetite to pay a high-paying defensive coordinator, and that's what makes me worried about this.
Well, he's just gonna raise
Yeah.
the concession stand pricing.
Well,
Drink for
well,
$15.
I mean,
Freaking ridiculous.
I know you're joking, but really, what's causing this is the fans not revolting. If
Right,
that
they'll pay
stadium
it.
is 1/3 less full, maybe we get his attention. But
Yeah.
the Cowboy fans are not going to do that.
That's why I'm trying to lead the charge.
Well,
Jump ship. Let's go.
Well, and look, here I am getting fired up about this after I've been saying how apathetic I am. But man, that gummit, my heart breaks for this team and the fans of this team. Really, it's like, man, we've got to do something different. Stop doing the same old things, Jerry. And I was going to get into this later, but Jerry Jones and this team, they fall in love with their ideas. They fall in love with their players, and they think nobody can do it better than us. And everybody's wrong about these player evaluations. And then 2 years later, they realize everybody else was right, and then they finally give up on the guy. It's so much nonsense holding this team back. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And they must be insane in the front office.
What about Cleveland's defense?
Well, that's Schwartz, right?
But like,
Yeah.
I feel like the Browns are like historically just awful. Like anytime you're, playing Madden and you just want to, I don't know, maybe it's just me and I don't really want to challenge. I pick to play the Browns.
Well, I mean, but their defense is the best part of their team, and I don't think
I know, but
they're going to let the defensive coach go. And maybe it's a possibility, but to me, it's got to happen this week. If it's going to happen at all, it'll happen this week. If they don't fire him this week, I think they're going to bring him back next year, Nick.
Yeah, if you put a gun to my head right now and say, which way is this going to go? Like, I guess if you ask me for the odds, right? Are we going to go? Give me the odd. We talk about Nick's picks all the time. I would have to go like a minus 125, minus 150. Like the odds are likely that they keep him. If you make me, set the odds, you're going to get better money on them moving on from him. Like that's just it's very rare,
That
and
makes me
I'll
want to
look it
throw
up.
up. That makes me want to puke. Honestly, it just really does.
But you know it's true.
I know it's true, and so did Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, good history lesson about who Milli Vanilli is now.
But it makes me want to puke because it's probably going to happen, and it's the most Jerry-like thing ever. It's just the most Jerry-like thing ever. And I think I don't know if we. To me, though, I know I've talked a lot on this piece because I'm fired up about it, because I don't trust Jerry Jones to do the right thing. And every year he gets up in front of the cameras. Oh man, it's on me. I take responsibility. Yeah, we've underachieved. Yeah, we should have been better. And man, there's going to be accountability, but it starts with me at the top. No, it doesn't. No one's holding him accountable. The fans aren't holding him accountable. No one's holding him accountable. So he can do whatever the heck he wants. The only thing he can't do is cheat death. That's the only thing he can't do. And I don't want to sound morbid here, but the thing is, no one's holding him accountable. No one. It's not going to change. And Steven is Jerry Jr., but we already have a Jerry Jr., but Steven is Jerry Jr. Jr. And to me, it doesn't change even if Jerry's no longer with us. And I like Jerry Jones. He's charming. He just doesn't know football as much as he thinks he does.
Is he that charming?
He is.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he really is. He really is. I mean, if you're not jaded, like you very clearly are, and you have that level of subjectivity or even that level of admiration for the club and not the owner, It's the Al Davis effect, man. How many people love the Raiders, and you know, Al Davis's little quirks, Darius Hayward Bay become lovable almost to some degree. I will say this, and this is according to Gemini AI, so maybe pinch of salt here. But in the last 20 seasons, only Mike Zimmer and Mike Nolan have coached only one season as defensive coordinator. And Zimmer left. He was not. It's not like he was fired. He signed a 1-year contract, and they mutually agreed for him not to return. So, really, if you take it even a step further, it looks like only once in the last 2 decades has Jerry Jones and the Cowboys decided to move on from a defensive coordinator
Yeah,
after just one
but
season.
but you know why they did that time? Because Mike Nolan was Mike McCarthy's guy, wasn't
Right.
Jerry Jones's guy. So yeah, we're gonna move on from him because that's not Jerry Jones's guy. That's Mike McCarthy's guy. And I keep bumping this microphone. I apologize, but that's why. That's why they did it. Mike Nolan is McCarthy's buddy, and McCarthy wanted to bring him in to be defensive coordinator, and Jerry acquiesced, and then got him out of here right away because it's
Yep.
not a Jerry guy. Eberflus is a Jerry guy, and that's my concern.
Yeah, no, and it's a fair concern. And right now, I would go out on a limb. I'm not even going out on a limb. I would just make the statement that Matt Eberflus will be your defensive coordinator for the 25-26 season, or 26-27 season.
It's the Christmas season.
Yeah,
I'm trying not to be the Grinch, right? I'm trying
that's what it
to
felt.
I'm trying to have good tidings of comfort and joy, you know? So, and guess what the freaking schedule makers do? They make the Cowboys play on Christmas when I'm trying to have good tidings and joy with a season that's over, probably with a bunch of backups, and we're trying to get a higher draft pick, right? But here's what I want to say about Jerry Jones. This is the last thing I'm going to say about Jerry Jones. And I'm wearing my Merry Christmas Charlie Brown t-shirt if you can't see it. You know the old skit where Lucy pulls the football out from Charlie Brown and he keeps falling for it and he
Mm-hmm.
goes to kick it and he falls on his back.
Yep.
Well, Jerry Jones is Lucy, and Charlie Brown is us Cowboy fans. He does it every stinking year. Hey, you guys, hey, we're going to be competitive. We want to win. We're all about winning here in Dallas. And he puts the ball down, and we run up to kick it and yanks it out in front from us, and we go flying in the air and falling dead on our back. And that's what happens every year. And it's and I told before that Jerry Jones was the new Uncle Rico. He's really Lucy from Peanuts because he's yanking that football out from under us, giving us that false hope. Yeah, I'm gonna let you kick it this time, Charlie Brown. Why would Charlie Brown keep falling for that? Well, why do we keep falling for Jerry's nonsense? We fall for it every stinking year, and I'm just sick of it. I just really am. And let me say this: I like Jerry Jones. He is charming. He just doesn't understand that he's in his own way, and somebody's got to help him understand that. And pride is a very, very bad thing sometimes. That ego will make you do dumb things. And so stop being Lucy, Jerry Jones. Stop making us feel like Charlie Brown. And that's all I got to say about that. Any other Jerry thoughts from you guys?
No. I think
I mean,
not for me.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, nothing.
No, nothing.
I mean, this just literally proves my point even more. Just jump ship.
Stop giving him energy is what you're telling me. I tried this year, man. I've been apathetic.
That's why you lost all your hair because of Jerry Jones. You need to
True.
You need to sue him, and then you can fly out to Turkey and get a transplant.
I don't want hair. I've been shaving it since 1993, but the Cowboys were good back then, and it grew back then. But you're right. Ever since the Cowboys haven't won Super Bowls, my hair won't grow back.
I know.
So
I'm right.
maybe there is a tie there. Maybe we need to get. I need to seek legal counsel.
I would do it.
No. Well,
I'm calling my lawyer, Jerry Jones.
Let's move on from Jerry, and let's move on to the offense. Now, Pickens showed up today. I guess that's a plus, right? Yep. He's playing hard. He's got that contract to play for, and I think he caught like 7 of 9 targets, something like that, for a bunch of yards.
130 yards, I think it was.
7 of 9 for 130 and a TD.
Yeah, 130.
Well, that's awesome. And again, it's been more up than down for him, right? But we're in a lose-lose situation there with Pickens. Like, if you pay him, the best move they can do for Pickens is franchise tag him. That's what I say. You're not committed long term. Let's see what he does next year. Does he do it back to back? Does he go into pout mode because he didn't get a long term contract, or is he a professional like Dak was playing under the tag? I think that's the best move. But if you give him a long term contract, now you have to wonder which George Pickens is going to show up. If you don't, if you just let him go, then you look like a bonehead for basically letting him walk for nothing, right? So I think it's a lose-lose situation with Pickens unless you franchise tag him and he does it again next year, and then you can pay him because now you've seen it. It's not lightning striking twice. It is lightning striking twice. So now it's probably, real.
Yeah, your franchise tag in 2026 is projected to be 28 million, a little over 28 million. I think just strictly business, I would hope that with 24-year-old receiver, you're better off giving him that 3 or 4 year deal. I keep saying this and I keep getting some resistance when I say it, but it's T. Higgins numbers. It's T. Higgins money. Like whatever people want to say, I saw it in the comments. No way that he's gonna, they're not paying him that. Like I'm not saying that they'll want to pay him that. I'm saying somebody's going to.
They have
That's
to.
what yeah, right. And so if all it takes is one team, if one team is willing him to pay that, which I promise you, there will be more than one, then that's what his market is. And
Yeah.
so for every fan that says, "Oh, he wants to be here, he'll sign for 18 to 20," you're dreaming. There's no shot. It ain't happening.
Mm-mm.
It's the minimum of 25 million a year, probably closer to 30 depending on how you backload it, front load it, all that kind of incentivize it and all that good stuff. All that to say is next year if George Pickens is on this team, you've got a 60 plus $1 million cap hit in your receiving room.
Well, you can do some stuff there. I mean, Dak's going to obviously have to be restructured. Maybe
Yes.
CD will be as well. Don't know what they're going to do with Osa and Kenny Clark. Maybe one of those are restructured or both. So there's some things that they can do to soften the blow, but it's just kicking the can down the road, as we've talked about many times on this show. But
Mm-hmm.
I think I would agree with you. The problem is it's riskier to give him the 3 or 4 year deal because you're not sure which Pickens is going to show up. I think that the thing that's going for Pickens is he's been a pretty good teammate here for the most
Yeah.
part. He likes CD, he likes Dak. There's not any sort of friction with him and the coaches or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's going for him. But Pickens is only one of a couple guys that we need to sign on offense. The offense was held scoreless in the second half, but Javonte Williams is a free agent. The A-bomb, Brandon Aubrey, is a free agent. So there's a lot of money we need to spend. Now, if there's one thing that I can give the Cowboys credit for, it's finding running backs on the cheap. They've
Mm-hmm.
done that well. That's one thing that I can say that they do well. But Javonte wants to be here. He's saying all the right things. But let's see how much money he's going to want. And he's earned it, honestly. He really has. He's had a great season. Today, we couldn't run the ball for nothing. But if you look at how many different versions of the line that we've used this year, I think that says a lot that he's been able to be as successful as he is. And you're not letting A-bomb walk away. Aubrey's getting his money.
No.
And we said before, what is that going to be? Like $8 million, $10 million, something like that?
So the top average kicker in the league is Harrison Butker at 6.4.
Yeah.
And it
So he's
basically
getting
goes
8.
at the minimum 7.5, but
Yeah.
I agree. It's probably 8, especially because of the impact that he has clearly had on the team. And then from the running back spot, since you mentioned Javonte, this is where it's really interesting to me, just from a math standpoint, because you've got Saquon at the has a 20 per year number. Clearly,
Mhm.
that's too high for Javonte. I think that's a little extreme. You go Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara by average, and I think you're probably still safe. This next area is where you're probably going to get into where he needs to be. Josh Jacobs, James Cook, Aaron Jones, and they're all making about 12 to 15 million. And I
Mm.
think that's that's probably the right number for Javonte. That would be the biggest cap hit that the Cowboys have had at running back in quite some time. Because
They're
you're
not
right,
going to
they
give
have
him that. They're not going to
right.
give him that.
Their strategy from the front office standpoint is clearly has been not to pay running backs anywhere near that number. And you're right. Between Javonte, between Rico Dowdle, and you can just keep
Pollard.
Pollard, you
Yeah.
keep working it backwards, and then of course Zeke. Um, they're not going to pay it. They won't do it, and they'll probably hope to hit in the draft finally because they've keep trying and trying and trying, and that's not working. But
I mean, they
you never.
drafted 2 running backs this year, Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa. Maffa never saw the field due to injuries and
Mhm.
other things, and Jaden Blue has got something going on, and it's not health related. So they don't trust him yet. They feel like he's still immature. So they struck out both times in this year's draft. And again, it's if you look at the draft this year, we got 2 first-round picks, no
Mhm.
second, no third. Then you got a fourth and a fifth and a seventh, I think, or maybe there's a sixth and a seventh. I don't even know if we have a sixth round pick this year.
I
So,
believe that we do.
so yeah, just double check that because I know we have 2 first and then no second and third. So we have to hit on the 2 first and the fourth for this draft coming up to be impacted all because Pickens was your third round pick, right?
Mhm.
And your second round pick was for what am I drawing a blank here? We lost the second
Quinn.
round pick for
Was it Quinn?
Quinnen. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about that. So we'll have to fact check that. All this Jerry Jones anger has got me disheveled a little bit. We'll need to check that. Why we don't have a second round pick this year. But but you missed on 2 running backs, and I kind of do trust him with the running back position. And it looks like running backs are easier to find. I mean, some teams got 2 or 3 of them, and they can't just keep them. So I think that we'll be okay if they don't sign Javante. I would like them to, but again, we can't pay everybody. We're not the Eagles, so I guess we can find out how they're doing it and do it. But I don't know that they're going to be able to pay him, Aubrey, Pickens, keep the defensive line the way it is. Um, if they do, they're not going to be able to add any legitimate free agents at this
Not
point.
free
So
agents, right?
yeah, and so and how long is it going to take to build this defense through the draft? You
Yeah.
certainly like right now, if the draft started today, they got the 13th pick and the 21st pick. Green Bay's in the 21st slot. Dallas is currently in the 13th slot. And I
Right.
don't think that can go up very much more, maybe a spot or 2 for Dallas. And of course, Green Bay, if they lose their last 2 games, could slide a little bit. But that's where you're going to pick. So you're going to have to hit on 2 defensive studs at 13 and 21.
Yeah, so a couple of kind of fact points here. So the Cowboys have 8 picks in this year's draft. So,
Okay.
if you just kind of apples to apples it, they should, if they don't make any trades, they have 7. So they're a little bit better off in that respect. Now, where those picks are, to your point, matter a lot. They have their own pick in this year's first round in Green Bay's, as you mentioned. The second rounder is gone to the Jets, and it was for the Quinnen Williams trade.
Yeah.
The third is in Pittsburgh for the George Pickens trade. They have their own fourth. They have a fit. They have their own fourth, and they have 3 in the fifth. One of them is just their natural own pick, and then 2 of them are compensatory picks. So they're technically their own, but they're comp picks for losing players in free agency. They do not
And those
have the
can still
sixth.
move, right? That was
That's
free.
right. That's right. It's not set in like what they
Yeah.
become is dependent on a few factors, so they could theoretically
Okay.
still move. The
Okay.
6th rounder is not there. That was in the Jordan Phillips trade with the Giants, so they don't have their own 6th. No, I'm sorry, it moved again. So that was a Logan Wilson trade, so it moved twice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they don't have their own 6 for Logan, and then they have the Giants and the Chiefs pick in the 7th. So 8 picks, none in the 2nd, none in the 3rd, none in the 6th.
Okay. Thanks for clearing that up because to me, it's the first 3 picks you've got to hit on immediately, and they've got to be able to impact your defense. I would go defense all 3 of them. Honestly, I would, unless we don't have Pickens, unless we don't have if they're not going, if there's something crazy happens, I would go three defensive players, which scares me. We've been through the history with defense in Dallas
Yeah.
drafting defense. It's not been great. But
I will say this real quick, just to that point, and we'll get into it. We'll have a draft show at some point, I'm sure. But the one thing that can be potentially positive, and I'm curious what your thoughts are. But when I'm looking at this, and as I've started kind of, it's just something that I like to do is looking at college players, reading the scouting reports, stuff like that. I would look at edge and corner, safe. I'll say DB, corner slash safety. I know linebacker is a need. I'm kind of being foolish and thinking that Overshown will be there and you can maybe pick up a veteran or two. I just think edge and DB are more critical. Having said that, if it is edge and DB, I think you have a really good chance to have one of the top 3 or 4 edge rushers or DBs just from the way that the draft is kind of lined out, with both picks. So I think you walk away if we do exactly what you said with both of those first round picks, and you'll have a top 3 or 4 DB and edge rusher out of the draft. Now, whether they do that, long way of way, but there is a path forward there for that. There's a path forward to hopefully get more talented right away. Whether they're
yeah.
impactful or not, we'll see Matty Eberflus.
Well, again, we will get into draft, who's available, and sort of, we don't have. Let me speak for myself. I don't have hours and hours and hours to dive in to watching tape for all these prospects, but we do enough research to have a finger on the pulse of, okay,
Yeah.
what can we expect? And the Cowboys are very clued in. If they give a person a visit, that's probably who they're drafting is in those players that visit the
Yeah.
Cowboys, right? And
Yeah.
so it's not really hard to do. I think my biggest problem is the Cowboys fall in love with their own ideas, and they don't, and it goes against most of what the NFL says,
Mhm.
in most cases. So I think that the offense, even though it's scoreless in the second half, they weren't motivated. You could clearly see that. That they were still, on the offensive line. I mean, it wasn't like they were just sacking Dak left and right.
Right.
It's Flournoy goes out with a concussion, right?
Mhm.
Overshown goes out with a concussion, and that means we see more of Murray and Shamar James and Logan Wilson. And to your point earlier, can Overshown stay healthy? It's a concussion, so that's not really
Yeah.
a nagging injury. It's just a
Yeah.
kind of a freak deal. So I don't hold that against him. But the offense is not a huge question mark unless Pickens isn't back, right? And then maybe Flournoy can step in that spot, and then you only need a third receiver, a slot receiver, or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I think offensively we're still fine. Dak played okay. Wasn't really any issue with Dak per se. Um, I think that we got to talk about Schottenheimer real quick. If there's only one criticism I have for Schottenheimer, it would be his third down play calling and execution. Maybe it's on Dak, and the players for executing, and then the red zone play calling. I think those are the two areas that are fair to criticize Shoddy this year. Otherwise, I think he's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, I don't think that there's it's a obviously first year as a head coach. Everyone knows that. He's been around the league forever, so you don't want to say that the play calling is impacted that much by the fact that he's a head coach. But it'd be silly to say that it's not at least a little bit of a factor in that, right? Like when you're having to clock manage, when you're having to make decisions about what we're doing here and there, it's
Yeah, he's
certainly
calling the plays too. Yeah, and doing all that.
right,
Yeah,
right. So even though he clearly is not new to the NFL, he's been around it his entire life. I think when I hear people say, well, he's been around the league forever, this, him calling plays and being head coach doesn't have much of an impact.
right.
I think that's a little unfair to the guy. I think I'm not to make excuses for him, but I just find it very hard to believe that you can have two responsibilities so nuanced and so intricate, and they don't have any impact on your ability to do them well. Like, give the man a little bit more grace than that. Now it's his decision to be the play caller, right? We've seen it all over the league. Offensive coordinators, as head coaches, and then the ones that are struggling to keep pace will give up those duties. At least maybe to the QB coach or just have a play calling coach, whatever they make that. So I, I I'm very hesitant to criticize him. He's had a great year. The culture definitely seems to be shifting. The biggest tick positive for me for the Cowboys for this season has seemed to be, especially offensively, the next man up mentality actually mattering here. When a guy's been out in the past, it's been like, oh my God, we know Tyron Smith is out. We're going to give up pressure all night long. Or a receiver's out. Now we're not going to be able to move the ball. That has not been the case this year. Someone goes out, next man up. Maybe you get a little drop off, but it's not much. So I'm with you. I think there's a couple of little things you can point to, but by and large, I was very pleasantly surprised with Brian Schottenheimer and what he's done this year.
Yeah, and I think that when you talk about, we haven't had a bunch of game management issues this year. We've had some of those with McCarthy and other coaches, Jason Garrett. Even when Jason Garrett wasn't calling plays, he had game management issues. But we haven't really seen a bunch of big mistakes when it comes to that. It's been a pretty clean rookie head coach year for Brian Schottenheimer, and I believe he deserves to be back. There's nobody calling for his job or anything. It's just we're saying if you had to criticize Schottenheimer, it would be in those areas: the red zone play calling and third down conversions, right, for the offense.
That's fair.
And the offense overall is not a concern for me. The concern is, can we have Dak healthy for 2 straight years? Because that's the concern for me. Is that as Dak continues to get older, he's done a great job of staying healthy this year. Will he do that again next year? Any more Cowboys thoughts before we move on to the rest of the NFL? Luke, Nick, anything else you want to say about the Cowboys? Let's get it out of our system before Christmas.
Bring on the draft.
What'd
you say, Nick?
Bring on the draft. I'm ready for the season.
Bring on the draft. It's draft time, baby.
Yeah. I think I'm thinking about red zone, and I'm thinking of all the teams that do like these trick plays and all this stuff. But then sometimes I just think about how, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers with Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, like how they would just drive down the field and in the red zone they're always scoring. And part of me is like they never did like trick plays. Like, so I'm just curious, like how much of that is like how much of red zone efficiency on coaching versus just on execution of the players, just making the plays and getting the job done. Like
that's fair. I mean, maybe there's a few times he got too cute down there.
Yeah,
like you're saying, maybe he out-created him, got too creative for his own good. I agree with that, but I think there is something to be said about the balance between, okay, coach can call the plays and we got to execute it. And if you call one of those gadget plays and it doesn't go well, then you look like an idiot. But if they do it well, then you look like a genius.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's a good point. I think that here's what we know: good players execute, good scheme, right? And they make each other look good. So, well, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the NFL, and Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers continue to free fall. The Lions continue to struggle. It looks like the Jaguars are for real. The Bears look like they're for real. So let's get into who are our favorite teams now as far as to win the Super Bowl. Who do we have now? Let's get into it a little bit, guys. Give me your thoughts about this week. I know it's Sunday night, and we still got the Ravens and Patriots playing. And tomorrow is the Colts and the who? Niners.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we won't have that. We won't be talking about those games because they haven't happened yet.
You already know San Francisco is going to win, so.
Well, they could. The Colts are slipping.
They will.
So let's get into it. Who you sticking with your teams? I think Nick, you had Rams and
Bills
last week. Yep. Maestro had Broncos and Rams.
And Rams.
And I had Patriots and Rams, I believe. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Keyword, everyone is on the Rams bandwagon after I had the Rams.
Well, the Rams took a small fat L.
Okay.
A slim L to the Seahawks on Thursday night.
The record's 1-1.
Are you sticking?
Yes, they're 1-1 with the Seahawks, and they're playing in Seattle, which is hard to play, and they still put up 37 points and Puka went off. I mean, their offense is still without Devontae Adams is still looks great.
Well, you're fired up about these Rams. You're really coming to their defense.
I want Devontae Adams to win.
We've all picked them though. We're not arguing with you.
I know, but you said that you're
I
acting
said,
like,
do
oh,
you
I don't
think?
know because they
I'm
lost to
just saying, are you
Seattle.
sticking with them?
I'm like, they lost in Seattle, and Seattle has a great defense, and they still put up 37 points.
Well, let's be fair. If the Rams freaking run the ball in the second half in the fourth quarter,
Yeah,
they probably win that
and
game.
I said that last week. Kyron Williams.
Yeah, they need to run the
And they,
ball. So you're sticking with the Rams. It sounds like,
of
Luke.
course, I'm sticking with the
So
Rams.
let me give you just a little bit of an upside on that, because I don't disagree with anything you said. I actually was kind of thinking
Yeah.
about coming off the Rams, but I like everything you said. But here's the important factor in what you just said. It was in Seattle, and Seattle is extremely tough to play in.
Right.
So what if it's in Seattle in the playoffs? Because that loss now means
Yeah.
that the Rams
They
have a
put up
lot of work to
37
do.
points.
But
They should have won. They won on a 2-point conversion. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
so
but
you're
what
not
he's saying
concerned if
is
they
in
have
the
to go to Seattle.
No, I trust Matt Stafford over. I mean, look what happened last year. With
Darnold.
Sam Darnold. Yes, I mean,
but hold on a
with the
second, guys.
Vikings,
Every
they were just as good last year. The Vikings were just as good as the Seahawks are this year. Last year, and they lost in the playoffs and started celebrating too early and all that when all that stuff went down. I don't know. I can't trust him. Stafford has our Super Bowl ring. I mean, who are you gonna trust?
Yeah, but right now the Rams won't play a home playoff game. That is a concern. Now there's still 2 games to go, and do you have the Seahawks schedule up?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
pulling it up
concerned.
pulling it up right now.
Let's see who the Seahawks play the last 2 weeks and who the Rams play the last 2 weeks.
I think the Rams are just as good on the road as they are at home. I mean, like I said, they put up 37 points.
Well,
in
they're
Seattle.
11-4, so they've only lost 4
Yeah,
games. So
they're
they're a game back of Seattle.
so Seattle it's tough. They have Carolina and San Francisco both fighting for playoff positioning.
Yeah, so let's say they go 1-1 there.
Yeah,
Okay.
and both on the road.
Yeah.
And then the Rams have the Falcons and the Cardinals.
Okay, so that's two wins. So they could be tied with Seattle, and Seattle. Who gets the tiebreaker because they're 1-1 with Seattle, right?
Yeah, the division records. Let me pull that real quick, and I will give it to you.
Yeah, but
And you need to look at the 49ers schedule too, because if they win tomorrow night, then they have 2 games left, and they're also 11-4.
yeah, but if the Rams win the
Right.
division, it doesn't matter.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. They'll be tied in the NFC West if the 49ers win tonight.
That's right.
Or
That's
tomorrow
right.
night.
Tomorrow night, yeah. So let's just assume the likely happens, and let me look at San Francisco. San Francisco has at Indy and then home to Chicago, with Chicago having everything to play for.
Well,
Probably
they got another game, don't they? Because that's only
Well, they play
Well,
tomorrow.
they
They
got
play
another
the
game.
Colts.
Colts
Yeah,
tomorrow night,
tomorrow,
and then
yeah.
they got Chicago, and then what?
I just said it. Hold on, sorry. I went back to the other screen. So San Francisco has the Colts tomorrow night, Chicago, and then Seattle to end the season.
Okay, yeah, Seattle. Seattle plays, so that game's going to be huge.
Yeah,
Yeah, potentially extremely huge.
because the Rams should win the last 2 for them.
That's true. They should.
That's pretty much the only thing I think we can all feel 100% confident here is the Rams should go in 2-0. I mean, they could slip up, but it's not likely. So let's just say the Rams go 13-4. Seattle splits, they end 13-4, and San Francisco, let's just say they run the table, and they end up at 13-4.
13-4. It's a 3-way tie.
So
Who
you
wins
got
the
a
division?
3-way tie at 13-4. And so in that scenario, it would be the Rams having the tiebreaker based on
Dang right.
division.
That's what I like to hear.
Well, I guess that really doesn't matter for our discussion because our discussion is who you believe is going to win the NFC and be in the Super Bowl. So you got the Rams in the NFC.
Of course.
Nick, who do you have in the NFC?
Oh, we're going NFC first. I like. It's so tough because I want to stay with the Rams. To me, the home field advantage really does matter a lot here. Particularly if any of these teams are having to go to Philly. I'm not necessarily worried about 2 Seattle and 2 Chicago. I think
right.
that just doesn't scare me. But if Philly can stay at number 3 or even sneak into number 2, that's so tough. And like I said last week, I'm really kind of now more looking at who do I expect to be in the Super Bowl. I'm going to stick with the Rams for one more week, but I'm also hoping and assuming that because they have the easiest schedule remaining, that they will end up with the 1 or 2 seed and be have home field throughout or for the majority of the playoffs.
Yeah, I think when you look at the eye test, the Rams are the best team in the NFC. I just feel that way based on what I've seen. If everybody's present and
Yep.
everybody's playing, the Rams are the best team, right? They're
Yep.
balanced, offense and defense. Now, the Seahawks, like Luke said, they gave up 37 to the Rams, but still won. But
Yep.
it took some amazing things to happen almost for that to work. So I'm going to stick with the Rams in the NFC as well because my eyes tell me they're the best team. And I know in the NFL the best team doesn't always win the championship,
Chiefs.
but I
Yeah.
I think that the Rams are gonna go to the Super Bowl. Still don't believe in the Eagles. I think the 49ers are one team to watch. And I don't believe in the Bears that they can get there. So Eagles and Bears I'm not sold on. And any of those other three teams, Seahawks, Rams, 49ers, they can, you know, they can get it. They can make it. So I'll stick with the Rams as well. Let's go over to the AFC where I had the Patriots, you had the Bills, Nick, and you had the Broncos, Luke. What do we think about this week's action?
Start with Luke again. I'm curious to hear how he feels about.
Yeah, so the Broncos, I mean, okay, we're still all in agreement that the Rams, and this is gonna make my case because the Rams did lose to the Panthers, who aren't as good as the Jaguars, I don't think. So I'm not too worried about the Broncos because their defense got 2 stops. Bo Nix could have played better. I think he will play better because the defense got 2 stops. Bo Nix, they had 2 possessions where they needed a touchdown, both possessions to tie the game, and they didn't come up with that. But I don't know. I think he'll learn from it and play better. He's still young. I'm not counting them out. I mean, I still have Denver. I think Jacksonville is similar to the Sam Darnold situation. Like, I'm gonna have to see something like
Yeah,
in just a regular season, dominance or whatever you want to
they're
call
hot
it.
right now, right?
Yeah.
And the coach is on fire with his play calling. The Duval coach. What's his name?
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what his name
Liam
is.
Cohen? Is that his name? What's his name?
Clark Johnson. Yes, that's right, Cohen.
Yeah. So he's they're hot right now. I don't trust him either. It's still Trevor Lawrence there. It's the defense is not really, done well, but their offense is scoring a lot of points. I'm going to stick with the Patriots. Their defense has been consistent. Their offense is, the one thing that's been a little bit up and down, I would say. But I don't, I think I'm with you on Trevor Lawrence, but I also feel like that's a little bit to lesser degree with Bo Nix and Drake May. So I think if I had to pick, I'm going to stay with the Patriots. The Broncos defense is looking a little shaky lately. I'm not sure what's going on there. But I'm going to stick with the Patriots because that coach of theirs has been through this before as a player, as a coordinator, and I think he can get that quarterback ready to play. And if all the games come through Foxborough, then that's going to be a problem for anybody. So I'll stick with the Patriots
But
in the AFC.
what about Sean Payton as a coach?
Well, he's been a little shaky, honestly.
I know, but you talked about Vrabel's experience and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but what about
no,
Sean Payton?
Payton's. Yeah, but I think that when you look at the two teams offensively, I like what Drake May and the Patriots are doing more than the inconsistency of the Bo Nix offense.
Yeah,
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Denver clearly relies on their defense, right? Like it's a defense first,
and that's failing them lately.
A little bit. So here's what I'll say. First of all, y'all are disrespecting the Jacksonville Jaguars like big time. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, they're the Jaguars. I mean, wouldn't you?
They're gonna have to prove something other than being good in the regular season for once in a blue moon.
Well,
I mean,
Luke's beanie matches that mustard yellow that they have in the Jaguar.
No, this is for my dark horse, the Steelers.
Oh,
Rodgers is the GOAT.
That's a little off.
Well, it's a little faded. It's old.
It's close.
This is my terrible my terrible towel hat.
But out of these teams, Nick, don't you think we should disrespect the Jaguars out of all these teams?
Okay, so historically speaking, yeah, absolutely. But 4 straight weeks of betting Jacksonville tells me that they are not a fluke, right? Like, for anyone paying attention to Nick's picks, Jacksonville has been one of my 4 picks for the last 4 weeks, and they haven't let me down yet, including today as the upset special pick against Denver. I just think, look, we've seen this so many times in the history of the league.
So
An
you're picking
opportunity.
Jacksonville.
I'm not. I think I'm going to stick with Buffalo, but
All that
Bro.
Jacksonville hype, and you're
hold
you're
on.
going with
I'm I'm
Buffalo.
I'm I'm hyping Jacksonville to add a little. To wax a little poetic here, as both of y'all are just trashing all over the Jaguars
We didn't
and
trash them.
Trevor Lawrence. No, that's what I
I'll
heard.
trash
I heard
them.
trash.
I'll trash them.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I didn't
They're
trash them.
they're not. I'm not sold on them. Just like I'm not sold on the Bills. I don't think the Bills are that good.
Hold on. You said that. Are you sticking with the Bills?
Yeah, I'm sticking with the Bills.
Okay. In that argument you made about the Rams potentially playing on the road, doesn't that apply to the Bills here?
Oh, absolutely.
They almost lost to Cleveland.
Yeah. That was gonna be my caveat for the Buffalo is how often and where they're going on the road. But I will say the other thing is, just like we talked about last week, there's a lot of quarterbacks in here that just are not proven. And I think once you get into the space that they're going to be in, if not now, when? If you're the Buffalo Bills, like you've got
that's
a banged
true,
up
but
Lamar.
I saw you got hammered a little bit in the comments about when has Josh Allen did it. Well, Josh Allen's gotten to the championship game. These other
100%.
quarterbacks haven't.
100%.
And that's what we were saying. So,
Oh, you're talking about me?
no, the previous
No,
video where they were talking
No,
about
no.
Josh Allen hasn't done it. Like, when has Josh Allen ever
Right.
did it? Whatever it is.
Right.
And the point is, Josh Allen has gotten to the AFC Championship game, and he's just ran into Mahomes. So,
Yeah.
I think Buffalo's not terrible, but their defense scares me to death.
They're the Cowboys 2.0. Cowboys 2.0.
They get further though. They actually make the playoffs and go to championship games
because they're in the AFC.
Maybe. So why are you sticking with Buffalo? Just the Josh Allen effect?
Yeah, I think it's just a Josh Allen, but also I think Cook, right? The more that they rely on Cook and the more consistent they've been with him, that travels, as we know, right? The run game travels, especially against, some of these teams that can be a little bit more aggressive. You get the play action going with Josh Allen. And again, I think at the end of the day, if you're going to give me one playoff game, Josh Allen versus insert quarterback here remaining, it just feels like a tall task for one of these teams to overcome them. With that being said, the Broncos better pray they get home field, because if the Broncos don't get home field, the Maestro and I can do a side bet that the Jaguars will go further than Denver. Because
no, they're not going. The Jaguars are not going further.
That's about the only that's the only way Denver can get there is with home field, because I think Jacksonville is playing significantly better than Denver is right now.
Well, I mean, they just beat Denver, so you have to say right now they're playing better, of course.
But even over the last few weeks,
it's a long season. I mean, I know they've been playing good this season, but I don't know.
We haven't really mentioned much.
Denver was in the playoffs last year, so
yeah, they were in the playoffs last year.
They have a little bit of experience.
We haven't talked much about the Texans or the Chargers or the Steelers. My dark horse is the Texans, and the whole playoff picture. Luke has the Steelers. Nick has, I think, your mom. No, I'm just kidding. Who's your dark horse?
My mom?
The 49ers.
The 49ers, yeah, which is more like a medium horse. It's not dark or light. It's
6 seed, man.
But they're a 6 seed. I would give you that. But the Bills are a 6 seed, and you picked them to go to the Super Bowl. So okay,
true.
I got it. So Maestro has the Rams and the Broncos. I have the Patriots and the Rams. Nick has the Bills and the Rams. And we just talked about our dark horses. So, and CJ Stroud's playing great. The Steelers beat the Lions, and the Lions are in a free fall. It's like all of a sudden the Buccaneers and Lions can't put it together.
Yeah.
And Baker did not play well today. And the Lions, man, I don't know what's wrong with them.
After today, you've got 5 of the 7 spots locked up. The Lions drop all the way to a 9% chance of making the playoffs. After they beat the Cowboys, they had a 54% chance of making the playoffs. So since the Cowboys game, it's just been a total free fall, as you said. And right now, it's essentially not essentially, it's Buccaneers or Panthers that are going to make the playoffs. Now, the shocking thing here is
Packers.
Well, but I just mean coming out of the NFC South, right? Like the Panthers and the Bucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for the
are
division.
likely not going to win the wild card. They'll have to get in via the division. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not impossible for the Panthers, but it's likely. But having said that, even after today, the Panthers still have a 42% chance against the Buccaneers' 58% chance of making the playoffs.
because of the schedule.
Because of the schedule, that's exactly right. So although
And
you're
the
right,
Panthers aren't getting any love either. Like they're like the
no,
Jaguars of the NFC. They're not
Yeah.
getting. No one believes in the Panthers.
no one.
But
Yeah,
why
and I
would
think
you?
and that's a
It's
little
true.
bit more. That's a little bit more. At least Trevor Lawrence has taken some licks. He's made the playoffs once
Yeah.
before. Bryce Young, not only has he not made the playoff, but they haven't even sniffed it, right? Like they've been atrocious since he's been in the league. So I can
Yeah.
understand the Panthers not getting a little more love. But when you look at them on paper, with Dowdle, with Hubbard, with Tedera, with Bryce, I mean, they've got some weapons, and the coach has been pretty well. So I don't want to just dismiss them, but to your point, Jeff, I mean, you've got 5 of the 7 spots in the NFC locked up, and likely that you'll start getting 1 or 2 of these other spots locked up here pretty quickly. But man, it's very, very interesting. The Packers just lost Jordan Love. It's gonna be tough if he can't come back from that
Well, it's a
concussion.
concussion. Yeah. So I think
Right.
I think that he probably can. I'm not. Maybe we need to be worried about that. But to me, I think this year in the NFL, it's wide open. Anybody who
Hmm.
gets in the playoffs can go to the Super Bowl. I really feel that way, more than it ever has been, right? And that's the crazy thing, is that we like parity, but we're
Yeah.
seeing it at its all-time best, this year. I mean, would you put it past the Steelers to make a run with Aaron Rodgers? They
No.
could. So those are the teams we think are the best in the NFL. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know if you agree, disagree, whatever the case may be. And one other thing, please like and subscribe and share our videos. Interact with us as much as you can. It really helps us with the algorithms, but it also helps us on how we can improve the show. Don't just be a troll. Don't just tell us we suck. Don't tell us we don't know anything. Don't ask us if what football have you ever played? What basketball have you ever played? I hate that comment. Like that disqualifies you from commenting on sports, right? But please interact with us. Please subscribe, like, and share videos. All right. Now, speaking of, you talked about the Jaguars being prominent in Nick's picks. Let's get into Nick's picks. Maestro? All right, Nick, how did we do this week?
2-2. I'm noticing a theme here for the last few weeks. we're
What
rolling the
did I tell you
500
last week?
wagon. Yeah.
What
You
were
said
you going to go?
yeah. Although the games that you said I was gonna miss were totally wrong.
Did I
you
say? Did I say there were games you were going to miss?
Yeah, you said you didn't. You were less. I
Nobody
went back.
remembers that. They just remember I said 2-2.
That's right. I went back and watched it just because I was curious. I was like, I knew he said 2-2, but which games did he think I was going to be wrong on? So you got the 2-2 right, but you got the 2 games wrong. So yeah. But that moves us to 27-13 on the season for our what were we calling it? Our morale bank.
Yeah. We can hypothetical bank.
Yeah, the hypothetical bank. So 27-13, still having a phenomenal year. The games that we got right coming out of this week were the Seahawks and the Rams to go over. That was that felt like a gimme. And then the Jaguars to upset the Broncos, was also one. I will say Chicago and Green Bay, man. I took Green Bay -1.5, and even with Love going out, they almost cut it. Talk about a absolute insane turn of events. Like,
Yeah,
they
the
have
onside kick.
the onside, and you talk about, and then, Caleb Williams throwing an absolute dart in like 25-mile-an-hour winds is just like the wind just disappeared for that one throw, that seam route to TJ Moore for the touchdown. I love the segments that all the sports shows do about bad beats. That was a bad beat because everybody that took Green Bay -1.5 was sitting pretty for about 3/4 of that game. So it was a good week. We've got the 4 coming up here next week. We've got the Chargers versus Houston. We're going to take it's in LA. Chargers are -1.5, so Chargers are 1.5 point favorite. We'll take the Chargers over the Texans. We got San Francisco -2.5 against Chicago. So San Francisco versus Chicago in San Fran. We'll take San Fran -2.5. Jacksonville versus Indianapolis, over under 46.5. We'll take the over 46.5. And this is largely based on Jacksonville. Richardson, they opened up his window. He could be back. I don't like Rivers and the way that they're scoring the ball. So that will give me a little bit of pause. If it's still Rivers going into next week, but I think Jacksonville probably puts up 30 by themselves. And then the upset special of the week, can see the hypocrisy comments coming already. Philly versus Buffalo in Buffalo. I will take Philly as the underdog to upset Buffalo.
What?
Yeah,
you got to be consistent here. How can
Hey,
Buffalo
man.
go to the Super Bowl if they lose to Philly?
I don't bet with my heart, sir. I'm not an emotional picker.
Yeah, I understand that. But you think Philly's going to beat Buffalo in Buffalo?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So here's your rundown. Chargers over Houston -1.5. San Francisco over Chicago -2.5. Jacksonville and the Colts to go over 46.5, and Philly to upset Buffalo in Buffalo.
Interesting. So the Houston game, where is that played at?
It's in LA.
Okay. All right. Maybe, but Houston's playing well. I think
Very
the
well.
only
The
one I really
defense.
have a big problem with will be the Philly Buffalo one because
Yeah.
Philly's not great on the road and Buffalo needs to win. So
Right.
I think you'll go 3-1 this week.
Okay. We'll write that
Is
down.
the Colts Jags right? That's what you bet on?
He bet it
Colts,
going
Jags.
over.
Over.
Okay.
So they're going to
So
score more
combined
points
for-
than yeah.
Okay.
Then
yeah.
Jacksonville might have 48 on the Colts by themselves.
That's
So-
what. That's
Well,
what
it's
I'm
not-
thinking.
It's not part of the bet, but I don't know. I think the Colts might beat the Jaguars.
Ooh.
Oh, you like
He's
the Colts
calling
to
upset.
upset the Jags? Okay.
I think they might.
I will say
Now
it's a little disrespectful that they're a 6.5 point dog at home. That's a
Yeah.
little that's a little rough.
Well, I mean, like you said, it's Fat Elvis playing quarterback. It's Philip Rivers.
man.
It's hey, look, I've been there, Philip. I know. I've let myself go a time or two. Sugar is my drug, and sounds like sugar got the best of you, Philip. So,
Let's get
if
this
I can give you a
suspicious
pep
mind.
talk, just get off the sugar. You know, at least with Elvis, it was drug related. It was
Yeah.
it was bad and sugar probably. But my point is, we've been there, but Philip Rivers didn't play awful, but didn't play good. It's like Fat Elvis, right? He's kind of got every now and then he reminds you of old Elvis, cool Elvis. He can bust out a hit every now and then and sing it like he used to and deliver a great performance. But man, he can't get up and do those Elvis moves on stage because he's Fat Elvis, and that's what Philip Rivers is. He can't get up and do those Philip Rivers type things yet. Or maybe he'll get back there. But okay, that's Nick's picks for the week. And remind you, if you wager on these, that's at your risk. We are not advocating for that. This is for entertainment purposes only and hypothetical betting only. All right, thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
Now, let's get into a little bit of college football talk. We had the college football first round of the playoff games, and those went just about like we thought they were. Let's start first with Alabama and Oklahoma. Oklahoma jumps out to a huge 17-0 lead and then forgets how to play football for the rest of the game. Alabama storms back, beats Oklahoma 34-24, and Alabama goes on to face the mighty Big Red Indiana Hoosiers. Of course, we have to wait till January 1st for the next round of games, which
Right. Well, December 31st.
What just happened?
But yeah.
I just got something in my headphones that said disconnected.
Did the headphones die? Oh,
Oh.
okay. It was just a.
Sorry about that. Sorry for the glitch. So Alabama comes back and beats Oklahoma, and they'll go on to face Indiana. Then in the next game, we had one of the ugliest college football games I've ever watched. Was Miami going down
Oh my gosh.
to Texas A&M, down there to College Station, and they win the game 10-3. You said Miami would win. I thought Texas A&M's home field advantage would carry them in this game, but it was ugly. Miami pulls out the W, and Miami goes on to face Ohio State on December 31st, and that's the Cotton Bowl here in Dallas. It's
right.
Ohio State versus Miami. And Alabama and Indiana, they are playing in the Rose Bowl out in California, which is kind of strange.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the other two bye games unofficially.
Oh my
All
gosh.
this nonsense about James Madison and Tulane getting in the playoffs, and everyone knew it was going to be Cupcake City for Ole Miss and Oregon. Ole Miss beat Tulane 41-10, and Oregon beat James Madison 51-34.
I mean, they put up 34 points is not
I
bad.
think Oregon was eating hot dogs in the fourth quarter while they were
Yeah,
playing.
I know, but
Brian.
yeah, so that just looks like the Cowboys Packers
So now
playoff game.
we got Ole Miss playing Georgia on January 1st in the Sugar Bowl right there in Georgia.
Yeah.
Which is a big advantage for Georgia.
Yep.
And then you have Oregon playing Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl in Miami.
Yep.
So we got one game on the 31st and 3 games on January 1st. This is like old bowl season, like the old days where these bowl games mean something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do like the way they've done that, but we've got to talk about. I know the rules were 5 conference champions, and James Madison and Tulane fit that criteria, and they were the highest ranked conference champions. But it played out exactly like we thought, and they have to change that rule because that was horrible to even watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to at least look at it, right? And I know I will say, there've been a lot of articles and a lot of things written about potentially going to a 16-team playoff. I think this does solve some of that, only in that you can put 5 conference champions in, and you're going to have a couple of teams in there, just like in the NCAA tournament, just like in the NBA playoffs. Like basically every sport, that first round is going to have a couple of matchups where it's David versus Goliath. There's really no chance to win the game. It'll feel a little bit better when you don't have teams like Texas and Notre Dame sitting watching at home and you're watching a 40-point blow. Like, it's a little bit tough. So I will say, in terms of the rules changing, I think our best path as college football fans to that is probably a 16-team playoff. I know a lot of purists, a lot of people that really, really love college football hate the continued expansion of the CFP. I'm not that. I think the 16-team playoff makes a lot of sense, just for all the reasons I just said. And I think if nothing else, it does give you, once in a blue moon, you'll get a huge upset. Other than that, you get the right 10 to 12 teams that can legitimately win a championship in the tournament every single year.
I don't disagree with that. I think there is another solution that you could do without going to 16 teams, and you could say the 5 best conference champions, if they rank in the top 12 or top 15, something like that, you could put that caveat in there. You don't have to open it up to more teams because right now, I mean, one of the problems I have with this tournament is we got to wait 2 weeks for more games, right?
Yeah.
And then after that round, it's 1 week, and then after that, it's like 10 days.
Yeah.
So it's just dragging this thing out even further, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not sure the NBA likes that either because they're stealing some of that. And now we got college football all the way to January 19th, which is just a week or two before the Super Bowl, which is different. So for me, I think you could say keep it the way it is, but say if you're not ranked in the top 12 as one of these teams, like ranking wise, then the conference championship rule is nullified, right? Something to that effect. And then we don't have to open it up to 16 teams. Because before you know it, it's going to be like March Madness in here, and we're going to be playing until March, literally, with football. I mean, think about that. College football ends January 19th. March Madness begins 2 months later. It's just kind of a weird schedule, and maybe next year they're going to start earlier with college football. So, but James Madison, no disrespect. Tulane, no disrespect. It's great that your kids got to experience a college football playoff, but it kind of reminded me of, and I think Luke said this, of TCU getting spanked in the championship game by, was it Ohio State?
Georgia.
Georgia, that's what it was. I think that was the championship game.
No, it was the
Yeah.
championship game.
And it was
and
just
then everyone was mad because I think it was Florida State that didn't get in or something, and they should have. And then
but TCU at least
that
got
might
to
have been
the
the next year.
championship
I don't
game, right?
remember.
Was it the championship game?
It was the championship.
Okay.
It was
Yeah,
the
it was the
championship
it was the
game.
Yeah.
Natty. Yeah.
So at least
Yes.
they got there, so they had to win some of these playoff games.
I mean, Tulane and James Madison, it just feels like the same vibe that I get is like, oh, everyone's a winner, everyone gets a chance. Like
Or
it's just kind of like it's kind of like
Participation trophy.
yeah, it's just kind of like you won, good job, but
well, it's a money thing. They want to kind of get as many conferences involved as possible. I get that.
That's exactly
But
right.
how about this? What if James Madison played Tulane as a play-in game and only took one spot? Maybe you could do something like that.
no, I like just having the top whatever 12
Top
teams.
12, yeah.
Like
That's a good-
I
that's
don't
a
think
good
the conference matters. Like just give me the best teams and then
Well,
do it that way.
we're still kind of trying to look like this is college sports. This isn't. This is professional. They're getting
Pro
paid.
sports.
They're going to rival the NFL at some point. People are staying in school because they get more NIL money, and it's more than their rookie contract would be. So there's already
Mhm.
that kind of thing. But let's get into this matchup, these second round matchups, right? These quarterfinal matchups, if you will. Let's start with Miami at Ohio State, which is played on December 31st at 6:30 p.m. New Year's Eve. Miami, Ohio State. I think it's pretty clear. I'm going with Ohio State. I didn't pick Miami to beat Texas A&M. I'm going with Ohio State here. What's the line on that game, Nick?
10. Ohio State minus 10.
Okay. I'm not sure they cover that. It'll be close to that, I think, but I'm going with Ohio State. What say you guys?
I'm going with Miami.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
What?
Are you doing that for dramatic effect?
Don't troll.
They just went to Kyle Field and beat A&M.
Yes, but that was A&M. This is Ohio State.
So?
Okay.
Okay.
Indiana barely beat Ohio State.
Okay,
And you think
so?
Miami's going to do that?
Miami's got good defense.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Dude, they're
going to
beat them.
Opinion.
They're going to beat them, and y'all are
Miami.
going to come back. They're going to beat them, and we're going to come back in here, and you're going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. What can I do to, I don't know.
No, we're not. No, we're not going to do that.
Yes,
but Michael Irvin would be happy if that happens. Michael
Bro,
Irvin would be.
Yeah.
Ohio State's taking an L. I
Okay.
promise.
I will take.
Okay, that's a little strong. You're promising.
Miami's going to beat Ohio State, bro.
It's one thing to have a hunch, but to
No.
promise is different.
I will
It's gonna
take. So
happen.
this is a guarantee. It's a maestro guarantee. It's a maestro lock.
We can
I
track
will take.
those.
Yeah, I will take Ohio. This is the first one. This is the first maestro lock. We might get like a negative, like a maestro lock, Z-O and whatever counter going. That'll be sweet. Ohio
Well,
State.
I'm the one that does the graphics, so I'm not putting that crap up there.
We got. I'll take Ohio State minus. I think they will cover the 10. I don't think this is close. I think Ohio State will blow them absolutely out of the water.
Okay.
Give me Ohio State by like 3 scores.
So we're kind of all over the map. I think it's going to be within 10 points. You think it's going to be a blowout, and Luke thinks Miami's going to win. Okay.
I think they're gonna win.
Let's go to the next game, which is
Miami.
the battle of the uniforms. If you don't know, Nick picked Oregon as his favorite team because of their uniforms, and Oregon will play Texas Tech, the Orange Bowl in Miami on January 1st at 11 a.m. our time, I believe. And who do you got in this game? Oregon, Texas Tech. I know who you got, Nick.
Yeah, the line is Texas Tech. Oregon -1 is the line. Oregon is a 1-point favorite. And yeah, of course, I've got Oregon, and this is basically a pick 'em. I'll take Oregon and Oregon to cover.
And not because of the uniforms.
No, not because of the uniforms. Because
we don't know what uniforms they're wearing yet.
We know
doesn't
that
matter.
Texas
They'll be
Tech
sweet.
has some nice uniforms too.
Yeah,
They're gonna be doo-doo brown color. They'll be sweet. They'll be sweet, bro.
Duck
They're
turd
sweet.
green.
Do you see the brown with the silver helmets? Ooh.
Yeah.
I
So
got Tech.
Luke is going upset again. Texas
No, it's
Tech.
not an upset.
Yeah, it is an upset.
It is an upset.
Tech-
Oregon is favored
Tech is
by
the underdog.
one.
Yeah.
No, it's not an upset. No, I'm talking about because Tech is 4.
Oh,
That's what I'm
I see
saying.
what you mean.
Yeah,
I
that's
see
what I'm
what you mean.
saying. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, I got Tech
Gotcha.
to
Okay.
win. Their defense is too good.
As much as I would love Texas Tech to win, I think Oregon's going to win. and this may be a little bit Big Ten bias for my whole life, but Oregon's just recently in the Big Ten. I used to hate the Pac-12, honestly, way back in the day. I thought they were overhyped a lot, but I want Texas Tech to win, but I think Oregon's going to win, so I'll say Oregon as my team of record there. The next game is the big one. Alabama versus Indiana at the Rose Bowl. Now, I can already hear my friend Scott and the Thrasher family talking trash this week. They probably won't because they're scared they're going to jinx it, kind of like Nick is when he doesn't want to talk a lot of trash about the Spurs. But obviously, I'm going with Indiana here. It's no secret. I did wish that Oklahoma had beat Alabama so we didn't have to play them because they do make me nervous. But I hope it's the Alabama in the first half of the game that shows up. And Indiana's defense is much better than Oklahoma's. And I think our offense is also better. So I'm going with Indiana and Coach Signetti to win this game.
Same. Yeah,
I'm
I
just
got
curious.
Indiana.
What do you think the spread is? I'm just curious.
I would say Indiana by 3.5.
No, I think it's Indiana. I think they got Indiana 12.5.
Whoa.
Split the baby. Indiana by 7.
Okay.
Jeff was close, but yeah, Indiana by 7. So, Luke, you got Indiana also?
Yes, I got Indiana. I have to.
We know
I've
it's
never
coming
seen
from
them.
Nick.
They've never been this good.
Us.
Huh?
He's about to roll tide us, man.
I don't care.
No,
he also
I'm
picked
not
Oregon.
Roll tide. Yeah. so did your dad.
Yeah, but you picked them just specifically because of their uniforms. That's kind of
that
crazy.
was originally
no.
not because
that was
not
the
game.
reason.
Yeah.
That's why I started following them. But look, I think
little young Nick did that.
Yeah, playing NCAA 2014 on the Xbox. So I would love to pick Bama, but I think Indiana's defense more than anything else. Look, Mendoza's a monster. Probably going to be the first quarterback off the board in the draft. Nothing to not like about them, but that defense, man, that defense is for real. And we've talked about it a lot. I love these old school teams that smash mouth football. My dream is an Indiana, Georgia matchup because I think that would just be sick. But yeah, for this game, now I will say I think Bama covers. I think Bama will keep it within 7. But I am picking Indiana to win the game.
Well, and to that effect, it's the defense. The Bama has the experience. Hopefully, this DeBoer to Michigan is a distraction still, and maybe that they don't come and play their best game. I think our defense has something to say about that. Our offense is explosive. I think Alabama's offense is not as explosive as our offense, and for that reason, I got Indiana facing Oregon in the next round, and I've got the last game here. We have Ole Miss versus Georgia, and this is the primetime game in the Sugar Bowl. Ole Miss and Georgia, I think they played already this year, right? Or no?
They probably did. I will find out right now.
I don't remember.
The way that so many teams in the SEC now, I forget who plays who.
They did play.
And what side?
They did.
I got Georgia.
It was in Georgia, 43-35. Georgia won.
Yeah, I'm going with Georgia as well. They're just really good. No disrespect to Ole Miss and the Lane Kiffin stuff is old news now, and they're just rolling with the new coach. But I think Georgia's just too good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is also a 7-point spread. And this is, if you remember when we were talking in week about the first round matchups, I said Ole Miss is going to just absolutely smash Tulane, almost as we don't need him, but then this game, you're going to need him, right? And I think
back to reality, right?
Exactly, and this is literally exactly what I thought would happen. Mississippi being only a 7-point dog to me is kind of wild. So I would take Georgia, and then if I was picking the spread, Georgia, just kind of like I think with Ohio State, I think Georgia doesn't really keep it close at all. So yeah, give me Georgia.
All right, so for me, I've got Ohio State and Georgia in the next round, and Indiana and Oregon. We got yeah, so that means I have 3 Big Ten in the Final Four, which is a little scary to me. So, but that's who I have. Maestro has Miami in Georgia, and Indiana and Texas Tech.
Yep.
And Nick has Oregon, Indiana, and Georgia and Ohio State as well.
Yep.
Okay. So one of the college football note I want to talk about, unless you're bringing this up later, Luke, is the Heisman Trophy guy from Vanderbilt and his nonsense that he's spouting off.
No, I'm not bringing that up later.
Okay.
The other stuff is just NFL.
So this guy needs to be quiet. I mean, the Heisman's voted on by people with votes that watch football. It's been this way for years. And now he's talking about how he got ripped off and he's thinking about legal action. If that's true, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You lost the award. It's not just because it went to an Indiana guy for the first time that I'm saying this. It's like this is kind of akin to Maurice Claret challenging the eligibility rule to go to the NFL draft. Remember that? Just a foolish decision, and I think this is nothing but nonsense from that guy. Pavia is his name, right?
Yeah, Diego Pavia.
Diego Pavia. Yep.
It's coming off like an entitled, arrogant person, and I don't know him, so I can't say that he is.
No, I don't
he's
think
getting bad advice here.
Yeah, he's like a journeyman type player, so he definitely like has that chip on his shoulder mentality. So I think I don't know, maybe he got like I don't think entitlement, but maybe like a complacent, maybe I don't know. I don't know what the right word is, but he's definitely like he wasn't just given everything, I guess is what I'm saying. Like,
well, he shouldn't be given the Heisman Trophy either because he wasn't the guy who they voted for. So,
well, he did better than Julian Sayin from Ohio State. So,
well, Julian Sayin didn't win it. So he if he
I
got
know,
that
but he
argument,
got more votes than him.
Great, but he didn't get enough votes to win. And so
I know,
that's
but be
the end of
happy
the
with
discussion in my mind. I mean, to me, it's just you're making yourself look bad. And it maybe to NFL teams that were thinking about draft. I don't know if this guy's draftable. I haven't studied him much. Matter of fact, I used to get him confused with the guy at Nebraska who looks like Patrick Mahomes.
Oh yeah,
what's that guy's name?
Dylan Raiola.
Yeah,
he's in the transfer portal.
Well, I used to get those two confused. So no disrespect to either one of them.
How did you get them confused?
Just I don't know.
One looks like Patrick Mahomes. One doesn't.
Just from the they're in the news a lot for what they say, not how they play.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So to me, this is just be quiet, man. Congratulate the winner, and go be a professional. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, so he's currently listed as a late day 3, somewhere between the 5th and 7th round pick. The Heisman Trophy voting, Mendoza had 643 first place votes. Pavia only had 189 first place votes. This wasn't close. He did come out and say, he apologized for kind of the immediate reaction and wanting to defend his teammates and wanting to defend Vanderbilt and, heat of the moment thing, which, I would believe that a lot more if there weren't like 15 other things that have gone on over the last week or so. When the finalists first showed up, I'm not sure if you saw this clip, he comes up and he's got his headphones in and he is like dapping people up and just, it's not a good look from the face of your franchise as a program. And especially one that's, it's not Ohio State, it's not Notre Dame, it's not Michigan. It's not this big, all-American type universities. This is Vanderbilt. No disrespect to Vanderbilt, they probably won't be super relevant again with any consistency. At least that's what history has taught us. So I agree with you completely. I think it's a fine line to walk of having moxie, of having a little swag about you, a little confidence, maybe even borderline arrogance. I think that's okay. You very, very easily can get into that, stuck up entitlement, I know I'm too cool for the room kind of thing. And that's what this felt like. And really, I hate that it took away at all from any sort of headline from Mendoza, because like I said, man, if you've been paying attention, that kid is dominant. And I think he will be a phenomenal pro, widely expected to be the number 1, maybe number 2 quarterback behind Oregon's quarterback Moore. But yeah, man, I agree with you completely.
And that's the difference between these two players. One's headed to be the top quarterback taken, and one's a late day 3 pick. And maybe that's why he did this. Maybe he's trying to bring attention to who he is and have people look at him in a different way, maybe. But maybe it's going to work out for him in the end. I don't know. And maybe it
Yep.
was just a momentary lapse in judgment. I'm willing to, forgive the kid and move on. I just think it was just bad taste. Let
Yep.
Mendoza have his, time, and it's not like he didn't earn it. And I know with the transfer portal and everything that's happening, it's like these guys can be on 4 different teams in 4 years, right? Honestly.
Right.
And
Yep.
so I get that, but I don't think there's anybody who thought. I guess there was 100 and some people that thought he deserved the Heisman over Mendoza. But anyway,
They were
just
all Vanderbilt graduates.
well, I don't think so, but anyway, just wanted to touch on that. Okay, now we're moving into a brand new segment, and it's called Maestro in the News, right? Or whatever we're going to call it. I don't know what we're going to call it. It's Maestro takes us through the news. And what we want to do is he's going to pull up the weirdest news stories of the past week or so, and Nick and I are going to have just a little bit of time, rapid fire, to comment on these stories. And he'll take us through 3 or 4 stories, and then we'll comment on those, and the Maestro will comment as well. So take it away, Maestro, and conduct us through the news.
Okay, I don't think it's. I mean, not all of them are just weird, but these are
Just
all.
news.
Yeah, I think some of it's just news. Some of them might be weird. Some of them are funny or whatever. But the first one that's gonna be a hot topic is I'm sure everyone saw by now the DK Metcalf altercation, and it says Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf was involved in a sideline altercation with a Detroit Lions fan in a blue wig during Sunday's game. Not sure why the blue wig even matters. Where he appeared to take a swing at the fan's head. The NFL is expected to review the incident. Give us your take.
I don't condone violence. I don't know what happened. I don't have any sort of context here, but you can't take swing at fans. I know that fans shouldn't cross the line, but you don't add fuel to the fire by getting physical with them. That's just my take. Not knowing any history or background, you can't do that. Now, if that was George Pickens doing that last year, oh boy, it would be probably a lot bigger story. But it's DK Metcalf, and he's been kind of a pretty good guy, right? So to me, I don't have any context, but you can't get physical with fans. You just can't. Let's go back to the Palace in Auburn Hills, the Malice in the Palace. You just can't do it. That's what I would say. You just can't do it.
Yeah, I think I love that there's always the allegedly and could have been. The dude took a swing at him. Like if you see that, like
Yeah,
there's no allegedly about it. Like he took
I
a
haven't
swipe.
seen the
Now, he
video.
didn't.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw it.
I think what the reporter was saying during the game was that the fan, I think, had a DK jersey, and so DK went over there, and then I guess he maybe just used the jersey to get him to come over there, like that was his plan
Wait,
or
the
something.
Lions fan had a DK Metcalf Pittsburgh jersey?
He wasn't wearing it. I
He
think he
just
was holding
wanted
it.
him to sign it or something?
Maybe I
Yeah.
think trying to get his attention, because if you're in Detroit and you're
Right.
obviously it's going to stick out like a sore thumb that someone has your jersey or Steelers jersey. You're going
So
to
he
go over
lured
there.
him in. It was the bait that set the
Basically,
trap.
I think that's what kind of the sideline reporter was saying. And then I guess there was some verbal altercation, and then DK like took a swing, and I mean, it was on. You could see it. It's on camera. I don't know if he connected, but
No,
Probably
I
not.
watched
Most
it
of
a
those
few-
fights
yeah.
don't connect.
he would have got knocked out if
I
DK
watched-
hit him in the face.
Yeah, and I will say too, it looked like DK kept his hand up. I watched it a few times. It looked like he really more went to slap him than actually hurt him. I think if DK really wanted to hurt him, he would have snatched him out of the stands and he could have really hurt him. But regardless of that, I think I've heard it before. Actually, is a great. Most people have seen Ted Lasso, but there's a great interview with Roy Kent where he's talking about, he thinks fans think that because they buy a ticket, they can say whatever they want to say to the players. The reality is it's just not true. And I think that perfectly applies here. Just because you buy a ticket, just because it's a road team doesn't mean you get to say whatever you want.
That's right.
And I'm certain that this dude probably crossed some sort of major line that DK wasn't okay with. And
Yeah, it's not
so
okay. Yeah.
yeah, so I on the one side of the fan, and hopefully they'll figure out who the fan is and give him a lifetime or a long time ban. Having said that, I am also certain we will not see DK for the rest of the regular season. That would be my guess. I would think he'll get a
I think he's
2-game
going to get
suspension.
suspended. Yeah.
I think he'll get a 2-game season. The league has to send a message, has to be loud and clear. It's the age-old thing. The only thing the NFL cares about as much as money or more than money is the shield and protecting the shield. And that's what they'll do with this, in my opinion. I think you'll see, like I said, at least a 2-game suspension. Hopefully no more than that. Or if they're going to do more than that, just make it be regular season. Like, I would hate if
Right.
they keep him out of a playoff game. But
Well,
yeah,
what
man, I
happens in the
think
real world if a guy's mouthing me and I punch him in the face? Who's at fault here? Is that considered? Am I the one that's going to go to jail if I punch him in the face and he calls me a name or he says something I don't like or
it,
says something racial or with
yeah,
whatever kind of comment he makes and I punch him in the face? What happens?
it would have to be pretty severe verbiage to
Yeah.
excuse a
Well,
physical
what's that
assault.
mean? Severe verbiage. I mean,
It's like a thread. It's got to be like a thread. They can't just, if he
okay.
MFs you and cusses you, dog cusses you, you're still the one that's in trouble,
Yeah.
right?
So
Because free
legally, if
speech
this
is
happens on the
posting.
street, he didn't connect, so there's no real fight here.
Right.
But the NFL doesn't want to condone that behavior, so they probably will suspend him. So,
Yeah.
okay. What's the next story?
All right, the next story is Mr. Trayvon Diggs, TV injury. It says Cowboys All-Pro cornerback Trayvon Diggs revealed that he suffered a concussion when a TV fell on his head, a bizarre incident that explained his mysterious absence from the lineup. Good grief, this screams Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys. Let a TV fall on my head just so I don't have to play for this organization and Mr. Jerry Jones.
So this is the one thing that Jerry was tap dancing around, I guess, all year.
Yeah.
So TV falls on his head. Now, I've seen a lot of Cowboy fans throw things at the TV and break their TVs when the Cowboys lose in a really horrific way and do something stupid. But this might be the first time I've ever heard of a player being injured with a TV falling on his head. That is right. That is the most Cowboy thing ever, and only could happen to a Dallas Cowboy player.
I'm gonna have to give this dude's jersey back. I got a Trayvon Diggs jersey, and I don't think I can wear it anymore. Like, I think I'm out on.
Anytime
Diggs.
you wear it, you have to put a TV on your head and walk around.
That's the new Halloween costume for next year.
Oh man, that's gonna be good. I'm definitely doing that. Yeah, not to belabor
Is this
the
true?
point,
Is this a true story? He did say that. He really did say that.
I mean, I can do some more digging just to confirm it.
If that ever happened to me, I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't tell anybody. I would keep it secret like the Cowboys did. But what was he doing to have the TV fall on his head? That's what I want to know now.
Just trying to mount it.
I don't think so.
No,
he would have paid. Literally... He would have paid somebody.
Oh, you're serious?
Oh, okay. You looked it up.
That's what. That's what he said. The exact quote was, "I was trying to be a handyman. I was trying to mount my TV, and it fell on my head."
Okay. I got a little bit more grace for him on this then, because I can't fix anything, and he's got all this money. He can pay somebody.
You just don't want to be a hypocrite.
Yeah. Pay that somebody else to do that stuff, man. Now, if you're just sleeping under the TV and it falls on your head or something like that, I'm like, what are you doing? But if you're trying to mount a TV and you drop it, or you're working with somebody else and it drops, okay, that I give them a little bit of grace on, I guess.
You don't even have to pay state tax. Like, why can't you have a little extra money to pay someone to do it?
Yeah, just pay the $300.
Pay the local high school team, South Lake High School boys football team.
Well, you can't pay them; that's illegal. But
okay.
but what you can do is just pay the $300 and have the genius guys at Best Buy come out and throw it up for you. I mean, just come on, Trayvon, what are you doing?
Another little part of this that I think actually is kind of a good move is he was trying to mount it to a ceiling. He wanted to be able to look up at it while he was laying down.
Okay, I just take all my grace back. That's idiotic. That's just not smart. Okay, what do you think, Nick?
Yeah, no, man, I got to get rid of the jersey. This is stupid. Like Luke said, this is the most Cowboys thing ever. You could have just said a player unknown and told me what happened. Oh, he plays for the Cowboys or the Browns. It's the only two teams he can.
Exactly.
There's no shot he plays for anybody else.
Well, that's just ridiculous. Oh gosh. And then that's probably why he sucked today, because he's still having the effects from that concussion.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next story, Maestro?
All right, the next one is Tua as scout team quarterback.
Tua, I'm noticing that these are all NFL stories.
No, I said that at the beginning, Dad.
Oh, okay.
It says in a weird twist to a strange season for the Dolphins, demoted former franchise QB Tua Tagovailoa was running the scout team offense, mimicking the opposing quarterback in practice. Who did they play today?
They played Cincy.
Cincinnati.
okay. So he was
Tua
mimicking
can't
Joe
beat
He was
Burrow.
mimicking Joe Burrow. Well, yeah,
Good luck.
That's
You
the
see
most
what happened in
unrealistic
the
thing
game,
of this whole
right?
story.
You see what happened in the game. The Bengals blew him out. So maybe he did a terrible job preparing him. Look, I don't have much to say about Tua. I feel for the guy. He's been through a lot of concussions. He's probably, got happy feet or whatever it is, and can't, process fast enough because he's worried about where the hits are going to come from. So this one's not that big of a deal to me. That's what you should do if you're not starting. You got to help out the team, help them prepare in any way possible. Although it doesn't look like he helped them very much.
Yeah, I would say the one thing for me is he's got a $25 million salary this year with a $39 million cap hit, and next year they cannot come off of him. He's got a $39 million salary with a $56 million cap hit. So yeah, I think
Dead money
he's
in the
obviously
future, it sounds like.
yeah. Yeah, so after 20, so they can get off of them after next year. But yeah, there will be a dead cap hit there. So yeah, I think the story itself is uh the most expensive scout team quarterback in the history of the NFL, clearly.
I don't know.
Um
Has Deshaun Watson played scout team quarterback?
ah, yeah, right. Keep that guy away from your locker room if at all possible. Yeah, I think it sucks for Tua. I think, just what everything he's gone through, and he kind of always says the right things, always tries to do the right things. It's hard for me to get on too much a guy like that, high class, high character guy. Um, Especially at the height of what it looked like they were going to become with him and Waddle and
Yeah.
Hill, Secchi and A Chain and Mostert, and they were humming for a couple of seasons, season and a half, whatever that was. So fall from grace, but you know, uh, I applaud Miami for trying to see what they have in Quinn Ewers and deciding, look, Tua's not going to win. I get on teams so much for this of,
Yeah.
this guy's not going to win you a championship, and yet you stay on him for whatever, I'm sure, math, just contracts and stuff like that. At least Miami's saying, hey, this ain't it. This ain't the guy. We gotta figure out what we have in Quinn before
We
we make
think they're saying
offseason.
that. We think they're saying that, but we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah,
Because they gotta pay that money anyway, a lot of it. So
yeah.
Tua is kind of boring to me. It's just it's unfortunate what happened to him, and it's great for the like you said, if Miami's moving on, good for them.
Okay, next story.
Is this
I
the last
have
story?
no. It can be if you want it
Okay.
to be. If
Yeah.
you want to shut
What's
it
the
down.
time? How long have we been going here?
1:45.
Yeah. Let's make this one the last one. We'll wrap it up.
Okay. Okay, going. Then I'm gonna go to a non-NFL story. Jake Paul just had
Oh yeah.
took a fat L to Anthony Joshua.
Let's go.
He let me see. Okay, it says Jake Paul recently underwent surgery to remove some teeth after suffering a double broken jaw during his heavyweight boxing match against Anthony Joshua on the 19th. So,
Yeah. Let me say something to Jake Paul. Jake, forget this boxing stuff. All right. Those other guys took money just to take money and take a dive for you. This guy wasn't having that. Go join your brother in the WWE where you don't have to get hit in the face by a guy who can kill you. Basically, they won't let him hit you in the face for real. So
Yeah.
I would say, Jake, let this be the final warning for you to give up boxing and go to the WWE. Join your brother Logan and do something awesome there. But get out of this boxing stuff. I think it's funny because you look at the video and Joshua's smiling as he's about to punch his lights out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are annoyed by Jake Paul and all the shenanigans, but man, Jake, give it up. Don't do it anymore. You got a lot of money. You made a lot of money. You made other people a lot of money. Now go make more money in the WWE where you can be safer.
They both made $92 million each
It's ridiculous.
off that one fight.
Gosh, who paid? Why? Anyway,
Netflix, man, it's big business. Yeah, I watched pretty much this whole card. I'm a big combat sports guy. I like UFC. I like boxing. For those people that don't know, the height difference between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua was the height difference in the other direction of the guy he was supposed to fight, Gervonta Davis. So
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis was about 40, 50 pounds lighter, and he was a lot tinier than Jake Paul. So a little karmic justice here and that. I think what you said is exactly right. Anthony Joshua is a legit unified champ, former heavyweight champion of the world. The dude is, just made out of granite, 6'6", and looks every bit the part of a legit boxer. I will say Jake Paul did eat a couple of really good shots throughout the fight. If you're gonna, if you want to be fair, he did a lot of running. The dude was a track star for 5 rounds of this fight, but he did take a couple of shots. I think all this showed is exactly what you said. He is a for show fighter. He is not a professional boxer.
It's an attraction, a moneymaker,
100%.
but not a real boxer.
Yeah, and he belongs doing exhibitions, or like you said, just outright going to the W. It's essentially what it is, right? It's an attraction.
Do it, Jay. Do it. Go get Logan. Y'all come together and do something awesome in the WWE. That I would look forward to.
Yeah. Now I will say, just to give the dude a little bit of shine while we're talking about it, what he does for female boxers, what he does for women's boxing is beyond admirable. Because if you watch the co-main event, it was a 3-minute 12-round fight, and those girls could go. Like, that was a great co-main event. He's done a lot of things for a lot of other females. The MVP promotion, it'll just be a matter of time until they have a main event with female boxers. So, but I will say there was a little bit of satisfaction in watching him getting destroyed in the same way he's done a lot of these old MMA guys.
Yeah, I'm happy that it happened, because I think it will knock some sense into him to go, hey, that is a lot of money, and I can make a lot of money for a little bit of time here, but you can do that in the WWE. Maybe not as much as money so fast, but you'll be safe. You won't have to take those hard hits, because now what are you going to do? Go back to fighting old boxers who can't really box? What that's going to just kind of help you lose credibility. So go to the WWE. We'd love to see that. Fans would love to see that. And if you guys don't know, we do a WWE show on the Dead Jeff Show here every week, and we record that on Tuesdays and post it on Tuesday nights or Wednesdays. So maybe we'll be talking about Jake Paul in the future. All right, Maestro, thank you for taking us through the news there. I think I'm going to really like that segment every time we have the show. Okay, we're going to wrap it up here. We don't need music for this on What's Killing Jeff, because I think you guys already heard me on my Jerry Jones rant. That's what's really killing Jeff. But I just want to take the What's Killing Jeff segment today to say, hey, look, I don't know where you are this holiday season. I don't know if you're talking with your family, or if you're on the outs with your family, or if there's some grudges you're holding. But I would just encourage you to add forgiveness to this holiday season. Put aside your differences with your family and join together for the holidays. I know I joked earlier about good tidings and joy this holiday season. But let's remember what this season's really about, and let's put each other first, and let's make that first step in mending fences with whoever you're at odds with. And if you're not at odds, please enjoy your family this holiday season. I hope you have a bunch of traditions that will continue, and that you build memories forever, because here's the thing that we forget. The day that we just had is one less day we have left. And I want us to make sure that we make the most of it. And this holiday season is a great time for forgiveness and mending fences. So I'm doing the opposite here about what's killing Jeff. And what would make Jeff happy, me, not speaking to myself in the third person, is that there are grudges, and there are heavy things that people can put aside and bring forgiveness into their life, not just for the other person, but for yourself. And that you can go a long way in mending fences this holiday season. If you have loved ones that have gone ahead and that we've lost, keep their memory alive and think about the good things that if you were able to mend those relationships before they pass, great. If you weren't, don't hold on to that guilt. Let that stuff go. And I just really want to say that from my heart to you and your family. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. I'll let you guys join in with whatever you might want to say, but that's really what I want to say in the segment known as What's Killing Jeff. Thank you.
No, I mean, I think that's really well said, and I think it's so easy to carry that. It's so easy to live in that space. I don't even want to take away from what you said because I think it was so eloquently done. I would just second it and say, I'm going to heed your advice and maybe make a couple of phone calls here. But it's a very very powerful, and if you let it really resonate with you, that it could make a lifetime difference in a 2 minute podcast segment.
Yeah, choose love, choose forgiveness. That's the best thing for you and the other person. Luke,
Yeah.
anything? Dad?
No, I would just add. I don't. I think I just want to encourage people to not just do it for Christmas or New Year's, like, oh, my New Year's resolution, and like stick with it throughout the year. Don't just make it a one-time thing, and because I know you get on kind of a like an emotional high or however you want to call it during the Christmas season, or even New Year's, but try to carry that throughout the next year, 2026, and build on that. That's
Yeah.
really it.
No, that's good. And one other thing I want to add is if you're suffering from any sort of depression, mental illness, you're feeling suicidal in any way, lonely, reach out to people, and people, check on your friends that you haven't heard from in a while. Please do that. I don't want to turn this into an infomercial or an after school special, but it's really been on my heart. And yeah, this time of year, I think about my family because I've lost my mom, my dad, my sister, all around October through November-ish
Stepdad.
time. Stepdad, yeah. And so I just want all of you to kind of understand that we got to take care of each other, and let's have some grace, let's have some humility, let's have some forgiveness, and put our pride aside and do what's right for the good of your family and for yourself. But don't if you're having suicidal thoughts or depression, reach out to somebody, and people, check on your friends. And with that being said, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'm sure we'll talk to you again before the new year, but enjoy the holidays. Happy holidays to you and your family. Thank you for being a part of this show. And until next time, peace.